The first body was found by a survey crew preparing land for a new housing development. As one of the workers cleared away thick brush, he uncovered what appeared to be a human skull partially buried beneath the roots of a pine tree. Construction stopped immediately. Within hours, detectives and forensic anthropologists surrounded the site. The remains belonged to a 26-year-old woman who had disappeared almost 3 years earlier after leaving her job at a local diner. Her case had gone cold within months. There had been no witnesses, no suspects, no trace of her. Now, investigators finally knew where she had ended up, but they had no idea who had put her there. As detectives expanded their search, cadaver dogs began alerting throughout the wooded property. Less than 30 yards away, officers uncovered another shallow grave, then another. By the end of the week, 5 bodies had been recovered from Pine Hollow. The victims had disappeared over a span of nearly 8 years. There were 2 women and 3 men. They ranged in age from 22 to 54. None were related. None appeared to know one another. Yet every one of them had vanished without a struggle. Their vehicles had been found abandoned in different parts of the county. Wallets, phones, and personal belongings had all been left behind. It was as though each victim had simply stepped away for a moment and never returned. The investigation quickly became one of the largest in state history. Detectives reviewed thousands of missing person reports. More than 600 people were interviewed. Every known violent offender in the region was questioned. Nothing connected. Forensic experts estimated that the victims had not all been buried at the same time. Some graves were years older than others. Someone had returned to Pine Hollow again and again, confident the secluded forest would never be disturbed. Then investigators discovered something unusual. Every victim had suffered the same fatal injury. A single blow to the back of the head from a blunt object. No defensive wounds, no evidence they had been restrained. The killer had either surprised them or earned their trust first. Crime scene analysts searched for DNA. Years of rain, heat, and changing seasons had destroyed nearly everything. Only a few partial fingerprints were recovered from a plastic tarp buried beneath one victim. Unfortunately, they were too incomplete to identify anyone. Then came what investigators believed would finally solve the case. A retired hunter contacted police after seeing news coverage of the excavation. He remembered spotting an older blue pickup truck parked near Pine Hollow on several occasions over the years. He had even written down part of the license plate because the truck seemed out of place so deep in the woods. Detectives tracked down dozens of vehicles matching the partial number. Every lead was eliminated. The plate had either been remembered incorrectly or belonged to someone entirely unrelated. Months later, another search uncovered a 6th victim. This one had disappeared almost 10 years earlier. Unlike the others, a wristwatch was still fastened to the victim's arm. The hands had stopped at 11:47. Investigators initially believed it marked the time of death. Later testing revealed the watch had simply filled with water after years underground. It was another promising clue that led nowhere. As the years passed, the task force slowly shrank. Boxes of evidence filled an entire storage room. Thousands of photographs, hundreds of interviews, maps covered in colored pins. Every possible theory had been explored. A serial killer, multiple killers, a truck driver, a local resident, someone passing through. None could ever be proven. Today, the forest has become a protected nature preserve. A narrow walking trail passes within a few hundred feet of the burial site. Visitors hike through the towering pines without realizing what once lay beneath their feet. The victims were finally brought home and laid to rest, but the person responsible has never been identified. Investigators still receive the occasional tip. Someone remembers a strange vehicle. Someone recalls an unsettling conversation from years ago. Someone thinks they saw something they dismissed at the time. Every lead is followed. Everyone ends the same way. The Pine Hollow murders remain officially unsolved, and detectives have long believed one chilling possibility. The person who buried 6 victims in that quiet forest may have watched the entire excavation from behind the crowd, knowing that, even after all those years, no one was looking at the right person.